This episode is brought to you by the members of the You Run Podcast Network. A place where everyone is a loved member of the podcasting community. To link up with these shows and find your next podcast addiction, visit YouRunPodcast.com.
You want to die tonight?
Late at night, I tune into your show, where you talk horror with a unique flow. Your voice is like sirens, draws me in, as you pick apart movies on murder and sin. Scott and Mark set the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Mark's fucking long roundups. You run podcast, horror movie review, sharing facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after you fled. You run podcast. You run podcast.
Under the sea, under the sea.
Hello and welcome to the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review. My name is Scott.
My name is Mark.
And before we do anything tonight, I want to give a shout out to Jenny, who is a listener to the show, who I met in the wild today, and it blew my fucking mind. So, Jenny, thank you very much for listening and confusing the shit out of me and having a selfie with me, making me feel like an absolute celebrity when I'm really not.
That's awesome, man. Well, you're just out and about in the real world, and someone's like, "Oh, you're Scott from that thing you do."
Yeah, I went and had my hair cut. I went and had my beard done. I come out. I walked over the road into the shop, and as I come out of the shop, this random lady comes towards me. Excuse me, and like was getting more and more animated and like coming towards us, like, "What the fuck have I done? What the fuck have I done?" You know when you panic.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Especially with your
done?
track record, you have reason to be concerned.
Yeah, is this another ex-wife I'm unaware of? And she's like, "Scott," and I went, "Yeah." And you know when you go, "Oh dear, this person knows me," and I have no recollection who you are. She's like, "You have a podcast." I was like, "Uh-huh." She's like, "Horror movie review with Mark," and I'm like, "Yeah." She went, "I'm Jenny. I listened to your show and I wanted to say hello." And I'm like, hello. Like that's awesome. Thank you very much for like. And she's like, "Can I get a selfie?" Man. And I'm like, "A selfie? What with me?" She's like, "Yeah, because no one will believe me." I'm like, "What do you mean no one will believe you?" Of
no
course
one
people...
talks about us like that.
Honestly, it blew my mind. And she was lovely. And then I walked back to the car to come home and I sat in the car like, that was wild. Like that's the most wild thing that's ever happened to me.
That is wild. I've not had that experience yet, which is disappointing for me, to be honest with you, because I would revel in the fact that somebody called me out on the street. I have met somebody who listens to the show but didn't know who I was until I explained who I was. You know, like I was like, it was a guy who worked behind the bar in a pub, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I do a podcast with my friend Scott." Right. I was like, "Oh, I listened to that show. I didn't know that was you." I was like, "Dude, I come in here like most Fridays. Like you must know it was me." But yeah, so that's the closest thing I've ever encountered to it. But even then, he didn't give a shit the fact that it was me. He's like, "Oh, I listen. I don't care who you are."
This lady was like genuinely like over the moon. I made her day, and in turn, she made mine. So Jenny, thank you very much for listening, and thank you to everyone else who listens.
That's proper celebrity status, that man, getting selfies in the street.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, like, I live in a little town. Like, there were people coming out of the shop like, "Who the fuck is this guy? He must be someone important." And like people over the road are like looking, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm not vain enough, but there's part of me that's like, yes, I am that man. Everybody look at me.
Oh, I'd be mortified. I think I'd be mortified. I'd be real embarrassed. Like I'd be welcoming if you do want to come up and say hi, but like I would at the same time also be like dying inside with cringe at myself.
I was more confused. Like, I was so baffled. I thought I'd done something wrong. Like, then I was like, how do I know this person? Have I done something? Have I upset them? Have I upset someone they know? Like, all these scenarios. And yeah, it was just to listen to the show. So
Well,
yeah,
hi, Jenny. If you want to take a trip up north and make me feel good about myself, feel free.
yeah. Or if anyone who lives up north, fine, Mark, because I know, like, beyond the wall, you're all roughly in the same place. Like,
Beyond the wall.
we are a horror movie review show that is run and controlled by the listeners, apart from this month where it's run and controlled by us because you lot are idiots and let us take control. New episodes every single Tuesday. Unless you're on Patreon, then you get them right now an entire week and a day early. I've made it even earlier, so you get them the Monday before the following Tuesday they're released. You can go to Instagram normally to vote for the movies. We're at You Run Podcast on there. The way this works is we give our review and our scores of the movie. We then dive deeply into, that's appropriate this week, we dive deeply into all the things that we liked and didn't like. Sometimes it's in order, sometimes it's not. It depends on the movie. It depends on our mood. You're never going to get a full beat by beat rerun. We used to do that. We don't anymore. We also have interactive features like 3-word review and voicemails, which we have some today. Hooray! We also play a game, which today is a new game that we've never played before that I can remember, but we'll get to that later. So this is We Run Podcast Month, and yeah, you didn't pick it. I didn't pick it. In fact, my fabulous co-host picked it this week. So do you want to say what we're doing this week, Mark?
Yes, this week we are doing one of my all-time favorite movies, a movie that I feel is massively underrated and not seen by as many people as it should be. This week we are covering Underwater.
Underwater from 2020. The film follows Nora, played by everyone's favorite Twilight character, Kristen Stewart, and a team of deep-sea drillers as they try to make their way back to the surface after an incident has damaged their underwater station that they live and work on. This is my first watch of this movie. I didn't even know it existed until Mark told me about it. And I wasn't sure what to expect, but this exceeded all of my expectations by leaps and bounds. It delivers claustrophobic feeling on a level of As Above, So Below or The Descent. The storyline and the characters I invest in, and I buy into the troubles they're going through. Visual effects are actually really good, which surprised me because there's a lot of CGI in here. But I went and done some digging, and a lot of it is mixed with practical. There's a lot of CGI gloss. Everything kind of ties together, and it gives you just enough information to keep you invested up until their big final reveal. There are some things that don't work for me, mainly the understanding of how physics and implosion works. Like in one scene, the writer and director fully understand how implosion works, and then in the next scene, they completely ignore the waterlogged item 6 miles below the ocean and go, it's fine, it wouldn't implode. There's no effects to that at all, the fact it's leaking. That being said, it turns out Kristen Stewart can act. I really liked it. I thought she was good. She's got great range. I felt that the writer of this had a deep love of Aliens and The Abyss and movies like that, and took all of those elements that they loved and brought them together. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This is a 4 out of 5 for me.
Solid score indeed, sir. And I'm really glad you got the opportunity to watch this movie. I've been championing this to you since I first watched it because it was one movie that blew me away. Like it just randomly popped up one night on streaming, and I was like, I'll check it out. I'll give it a watch, and I was hooked instantly. And I went in blind. I had no idea what it was that I was watching, and I was just mesmerized from start to finish. I thought everything about it, from the story to the lore building to the intense claustrophobic situations that these characters are put in, is executed flawlessly. And just for clarification as well, like this is sort of my wheelhouse of movies as well. Like this is like the whole deep blue sea sort of daylight sort of kind of I want to say survivalistic horror, because like that's the kind of stuff that I like, where you're kind of trapped in a really weird situation and you've got no other option but to escape, like
Yes,
Leviathan and
it
Event
is-
Horizon, and
yeah,
Pandorum's another one that I can compare it to that I really, really love. They're my kind of movies. So going into this blind and realizing it was that type of movie just completely elevated how much the experience I enjoyed. Kristen Stewart, I think, is fabulous. Her and Robert Pattinson are doing their damnedest to fucking wash away any sins carried by the Twilight franchise throughout their career. They're picking movies that are as far away possible from sparkly vampires as they possibly can. And I think the pair of them are doing a fantastic job in doing so. This was the first movie that I'd seen Kristen Stewart in outside of Twilight where I actually took a step back and was like, you know what? You've took a lot of shit, but you are proving everybody wrong. You know, and I think she's marvelous in this movie. The same can be said for the rest of the cast alongside her. Everybody brings their A game. You can tell there was a lot of fun had making this movie, and the relationships feel very genuine between the core cast. Again, as you mentioned, with practical effects and CGI effects, I think they're all fantastic. There isn't really any moment that I could pinpoint throughout this where I was like, ooh, that's not great. I think they do a fantastic job of hiding quite a lot of the stuff they can't quite reach with lighting. In terms of when I said to you before when you was going in, I was like, just make sure when you watch it you haven't got screen glare and stuff like that. You need to be in a dark room to fully enhance the experience of what's being played on screen, because if you are watching this during the day with the curtains closed and you've got that sort of glow on the screen, it will compromise your experience of it, because it just requires darkness to be able to experience this properly, you know. And I think for me, when I did watch this, it was very late at night, so I didn't have any of those troubles. So, but when I did watch it again for the show, I remember starting it, we got like 20, 30 minutes in. I was like, I can't watch this now. It's too early in the day. Like, I just can't. So I had to stop it and then wait for the sun to go down. And then I actually watched it properly, because I knew it was just interfering with some of the effects and stuff that were trying to be portrayed on screen. Anyway, I'm rambling. My point is, I picked this movie because it's one of my favorites, and I feel like a lot of people haven't experienced it. What I will say to you now, if you are listening to this show and you haven't seen Underwater, pause the episode, go and watch the movie, then come back and listen to hear what we have to say, because this will be a spoiler-filled episode, and this is a movie that I think works best going in not knowing anything about it. Just for a little bit of clarity on why and how much I love this movie, just so you know how much I love this movie. When we had our daughter, which is named Margot, by the way, I stuck my feet in tooth and nail to try and call our daughter Nora, purely named after Kristen Stewart in this movie. That's how much I love this movie. I was like, I'm calling my kid Nora. She is the ultimate Sigourney Weaver replacement, in my opinion, in what she does in this movie. And I was so close to winning. I had to sacrifice it, and we called our kid Margot. But if we get another dog, I've got the green pass to call my dog Nora. And when I get that dog, which will be a golden retriever when I get it, it will be called Nora, and it will be named after Nora from this movie.
That's all. So she is the under the sea version of Ellen Ripley.
100%.
My score.
Sorry, my score. It's a 5 out of 5. It's a 5 out of 5. I know it's not a flawless movie that you would be like, what? He gives this movie a 5 out of 5. I love this movie. I can watch this so much. I could put it on repeat. If I went on a desert island and I had to take a movie with me that wasn't a Halloween movie, I would probably consider taking this. That's how much I enjoy my experience with it. I think it's just a fantastic time to be had when you're watching it. I think what it does is it just keeps you on that sort of edge of your seat. There's never any lull moments in it, and it's just such a wild journey, you know. And I just applaud it for that. Like, and I think I glorify it as much as I do, based purely on the fact that the first time I did watch it, it wasn't one of those experiences where people like, you need to watch Underwater. You know, like I found it. No one was talking about it, and I watched it for the first time. I was like, fuck, this movie's amazing. Why is nobody talking about Underwater? You know, and I think it's that sort of experience I had with it the first time around, which is why I glorify it as much as I do. But I don't know. Let me know, you guys. I think if you watch it, you will have the same experience as I did with it. I think it's a phenomenal movie, and it really doesn't get the respect it deserves.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. Return to the shadows where the monsters creep. Native Randy's waiting while the world's asleep. From cult classic slashes to the B-movie fright, they're digging up the legends in the dead of night. So turn up the dial and join the creepy crew at the Graveyard Club. There's a killer seat for you. I know you won't regret it. So what you waiting for? A whole world of horror is just behind the door. The Graveyard Club podcast. The Graveyard Club podcast. The Graveyard Club podcast. The Graveyard Club podcast.
So go and check out the Graveyard Club podcast and all of the other members of the You Run Podcast Network. You can do that by going to yourunpodcast.com. On there, you'll find all of their shows. You can play them straight on the website, or you can follow the links and play them on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you want to listen. But it's a great place to discover them all in one place. Also, what you'll find in one place there is all of the links to our social media. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Threads, we're on Blue Sky. We're everywhere. We're literally everywhere. And every single social media gets variations in forms of content. So if you follow us on TikTok, you will have a different experience than if you follow us on Instagram, and you will have a different experience if you follow us on Facebook. Like, everywhere gets a variation of the same stuff. And that's partly because certain algorithms don't like the content that other algorithms do. So everything I record, I then edit and adapt and bastardize to put it elsewhere. It's a whole thing. Also on there, you'll find a link to our merch. If anyone buys merch, I'm going to give you a 3-month subscription to Patreon, because we haven't sold merch in, I can't remember how long. I haven't even looked at it in so long that I don't even know what we sell anymore. So click on that link. But the most important link on there is our Patreon link. With a Patreon link, you do not hear these ads in the episode. You get the episode completely ad-free and over a week early. So you get this a week before everyone else with none of the ads. You also get exclusive content. You get extra shows like You Run Extra.
Obviously, don't go and do that, please.
Hey, you do whatever you like.
We can't condone anything of the sort.
No, we can't. Live.
You need to live.
That messed my brain up then, mate. I completely forgot where we was.
Yeah, you need to live, and you need to understand the unfiltered stupidity and chaos that You Run Extra is. There's also, you get early release of You Run Recap, where I take movies we've covered years ago and recap them in like 10 minutes. And I give you all the clips of the movie and all the information you need. And you get exclusive episodes on top of that. Patreon is literally bursting at the seams with over, I think at the moment, we've got like 400 pieces of content on there. And it's growing every day. So do that. Also, the last thing you need to do for us, rate and review us on any podcast platform that you can. Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave us a written review. Leave us a 5-star review. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. I'm going to do it how the YouTubers do. Smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, man. It really helps me out. Do that. Or leave a comment anywhere you can. And that is everything we need from you. And again, go do Patreon, because then you don't have to hear me say this every single week. Let's dive into this movie. Firstly, this movie bombed hard. Like, it boggled my mind how hardly this bombed. And I think it's 100% a COVID-caused issue. So this was released in the midst of various different alternating lockdowns across the world. It had an $80 million budget. It was made in 2017 with an $80 million budget. Disney were in the process of buying the studio, which then put this on the shelf for 3 years. Then they released it in the middle of COVID. It grossed $40 million worldwide, which honestly is criminal for a film of this quality.
Yep.
Criminal.
Definitely.
Like,
I mean, like you said, I didn't even hear of this getting a theatrical release, you know? I didn't even know it. I just stumbled across it randomly on a streaming. I just thought it was a direct-to-video situation. I think that was one of the reasons why I was so impressed by the quality of the production. Like, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and it is good quality because they had a ginormous budget of $80 million, which they spent every penny perfectly.
Yeah, I agree.
The movie kicks off with Noah, Kristen Stewart,
Nora.
Nora, sorry, not Noah.
Noah.
Nora.
Busy thinking about arcs.
Yeah. And she's on an underwater, effectively underwater space station. It's a drilling station that's 6.5 miles down, and she's brushing her teeth, and she helps a spider out of the sink. And the first thing that went through my head is, how the fuck did a spider get down there? Like, that's the first thing I thought of. And then, like, she steps back, and a drip of water goes on her hand. I'm like, well, must be a leaky pipe. That's not good. And then all of a sudden, she has you watch her. Like, there's no dialogue for the first 7 minutes of this film. And
Yeah, she's monologuing over the top of this, is she not?
No, it's a voice in her head. She does.
Yeah.
And you have this moment where she looks in the mirror, looks at the water on her hand, looks in the mirror, and all of a sudden has that realization of, oh fuck, I'm 7 miles under the sea. This probably isn't a good thing. And she fucking runs, banging on all the doors, like, get out, get out, get out. There's this massive, like, wait. This opening scene is fucking awesome.
Yeah, if ever there is a moment to hook you in, it's this. Like, I was expecting something to sort of slow build me into the situation. This just goes balls to the wall within like 3 minutes. The ship starts imploding and you're like, fuck. And to be honest with you as well, like, the practical effects are like final act of a movie level good as this ship just starts letting in water. You're talking like the closing act of Titanic sort of quality.
Yeah.
As everything starts submerging, water's pouring into all these cabins. You see people running out, and Nora, I don't know why, because to be honest with you, it would not be my first instinct to start trying to wake everybody else up. I suppose it's a way of letting us know what kind of character she is. But me, I would be like, straight out of Dodge, man. I'd be fucking bolting it to the nearest exit. You know, I wouldn't be wasting time, because she's like stumbling over objects to try and knock on doors and that. I'm like, dude, get up and just run.
I love the fact that she's doing this all barefoot as well, or I thought she was. And I was gutted when I read the facts on this. So she wanted to do this in barefoot. The director wanted her to do this in barefoot. A health and safety operative came along and went, there's a chance she might cut her feet. So they made her prosthetic feet.
I was going to say, because she does the whole Die Hard thing of like going to put her socks and her shoes on,
yeah,
and decides not to, grabs a jacket, and then it's like, oh shit, dude, you got my shoes on.
Yeah, I love the bits where she's going around the corners, and because it's like, I don't know, an inch deep with water now, she's sliding like a football player, like doing slide tackles around the corners. Like, that's cool as shit. Like, you're so cool.
Yeah.
She gets through to like the bit where they've got these big airlock doors, and this is where we meet Rodrigo, and he's trying to work the thing to lock the doors, and he's like, I don't know how to do it. Rodrigo, I'm going to say it now, is thick as fuck, but he dies.
Yeah,
fine. She's like, give me the drill, takes it apart, taps a few buttons. She's like, oh, it's working now. And you see other people running, and as they're running, the corridor's imploding like section at a time behind her. And she's like, run, run. He's like, they're not going to make it. And she closes the door. And as it does the last implosion, it causes a shockwave. This slow motion shot where she is sent backwards through the air as like the spray of water.
Cool.
Like,
it's fucking awesome, man.
There's moments in this movie where it's almost like Michael Bay walked past and went, give me a minute, do that. Okay, great. Bye. Like,
yeah.
And this
There's a
is
couple
one
of them
like,
throughout, and this is one of the first ones, and it looks incredible. It looks so cool, man. It's almost like that Matrix level style stuff where like the water droplets are also slowing down around her. She's falling backwards through the air. It's just really cleverly shot. Cleverly shot.
There's a lot of that in this as well. A lot of
there is
shots that you go, this is one of those movies that there's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot going on, and then every now and then you just get a moment where you go, that was awesome.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I think one thing that I really applaud about this opening act is I think it does so much in such a short space of time, especially with the characters and stuff like that as well. Like, it sets up Kristen Stewart's character perfectly. Like, Nora is a very intelligent person. She's very adaptable to be working with the rig and all the hacking the computers and sort of like controlling situations that she needs to. You also know that she's a very empathetic character because she's not considered about her own escape. As much as she is, she's very much trying to save as many crew members as she can upon her exit.
Yeah.
even to the final moments where she's willing to risk her own life to save the others as the doors are about to close, to the point where Rodriguez is like, look, this isn't about us. Like, if you don't close this door, this is going to bring down the entire rig. You know, you need to close it now. And you can see how, like, you can see how broken she is, especially, like, it's really heartbreaking as well, because there is like two people, they're like inches away from making it, and she has to make the decision to block them out of the door. And it's like, oh, that's tough, man. That's tough.
Yeah, it is really good. They go from here, and they like Noah and no, stop calling her Noah. Nora and Rico go and find. So that they're trying to make their way to one of the escape pods, and they come across a collapsed corridor. And this they're going through, and they hear someone, and this is where they uncover Paul. Paul is amazing, and Paul has some of the most diabolical dialogue that I guarantee was ad-lib, because nobody put this in the script. Like when they pull this massive boulder off him, he's laying in like a it's almost like a hatch in the floor, and they pull him out. He looks Kristen Stewart dead in the eye and goes, "Thank you so much, my flat-chested superhero." And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, he's hilarious. He has some of the best one-liners ever, to be honest with you. I don't want to dive too much into the actor and the actor's character. I might be wrong in saying this, but I think he's a bit of a bad man.
I don't know enough, so I'm just going to talk about his performance in this, which is
which is what I'm going to do.
funny.
The only thing I know about him is he was a very key character in Deadpool 1 and 2. He wasn't invited back for the third movie due to some of the stuff he'd done. I don't know whether that was racism related or sexual misconduct related, but I know he's been ousted from Hollywood since this movie's come out. He's a very funny fucking bloke, though. I'll give it to him, you know. And I think like this movie highlights perfectly how he was going places. I don't know what he did to cause his career to nosedive. So I can't comment too much. Yeah, let us know. Let us know, especially the Americans, because I'm sure you'll know, because I think he was very big on the stand-up scene at the time, hence why he was getting all these movie roles like this and Deadpool and all the rest of it. But he is so fucking funny in this movie, and immediately I was like, you are the most unhinged character I've ever seen on screen. Immediately, as soon as he pulled out the toy, the stuffed bunny rabbit, I think it's called Dave. And he treated it like a baby, and he's like, "Is Dave okay?" And he was like obsessed with like making sure this bunny rabbit Teddy was okay. I was like, "Yeah, dude, you're not well."
I've got a fact that's going to blow your mind about Dave the bunny later. So they find Paul. They make their way through the rubble, and they're heading to where the pods are. And when they get there, they find the captain. The captain's name is Lucian. Again, really, really good actor, and he's injured his arm, and he hasn't gone down with he hasn't left. No. And Chris Stewart's like, "Why are you still here?" He's like, "Well, it's the most stupid line ever, but I get it." He's like, "Well, that's what happens when a ship's going down. The captain goes with it." And Kristen Stewart's like, "You're a fucking idiot." And in that, but
again, moment, like it's a very full circle moment for her at the end, though, is it not?
It is, but in that moment, he turns to the right, revealing his bandaged up and slung arm. On the top of the sling on his jacket, there is a Weyland-Yutani logo, and it blew my fucking mind.
No, it's not.
It is, and I went back and I checked it. I literally, as I was watching the movie and I saw it, I was like, oh, and then I rewound it and I was like, it is. And then I went and Googled it, and it is.
That's awesome.
It's so cool, because this 100% fits the Weyland-Yutani model. Let's send some disposable people to somewhere they're going to die because we don't care.
Yeah, and again, like even the ending alone, there's so much stuff throughout this movie where I felt like it was just needed to be explored, and I felt like a sequel was justified. The moment at the end, we'll get to it properly later on, but she opens a closet and she finds that spare underwater suit, the yellow one. Yeah, where she upgrades to yellow Power Ranger, and in the back of Lucian's locker, he knows what's going on. There's all like this fucking pentagram stuff on like the map that he's got at the back, so he knows exactly what they're drilling and why they're drilling the area they are. This movie doesn't give us fuck all in terms of exposition regarding it, but it drops nuggets of information like a Resident Evil game. It's like, what the fuck?
And what it is that they're drilling for is
Yeah, basically.
Kaluhu. We'll talk about Kahlua later. They have a plan, so they go up to the bridge, and this is where we meet the other characters, and I cannot remember either of their names, even though they survive pretty much
there
the
are
whole movie.
the entirety of the movie. And
They do.
I think they're great characters. I think they're both great actors, and I've seen them both respectively outside of this movie. I think the problem with the two of them is the fact that everybody else around them is so incredible that the two of them do feel very shadowed. And I don't think that was the movie's intention by any stretch, because they're vital to the closing moments. And you're supposed to be like championing them in a way, because that's the way the movie plays out. But in all honesty, they do get sidelined by the incredible performances by everybody else.
The problem is they're overshadowed. It's Emily and Smith,
Right,
is their
there we
names. Emily and Smith. I scrolled down through my bullet points because I knew I'd have it in there somewhere. Should have had it when they first appeared, to be fair, but I didn't.
That would have made more sense.
It would have done. I love the captain here. So they all meet up in this room, and they're like, how the fuck are we going to get out? There's no pods on this side. And the captain pulls up a map and he goes, look, basically what we're going to do is... And he comes up with this plan that they're going to go down in the lift, which is, bear in mind, this is an outside lift. So they're in the water 6 miles down. So they're going to have to get suited up. They're going to get down in the lift into a tunnel where they're going to use a little train to go from there to another little like outpost called Roebuck 641. And this is a station that has additional pods and doesn't seem as damaged. And Kristen Stewart's like, that's like 2 miles. He's like, and the captain literally goes, it will be fine. And I'm like, it fucking won't. Like, it would
but
not
again,
be
though,
fine.
like, they have a really cool conversation here where the captain like just shows his balls, and he's like, Kirsten Stewart's like, can you at least tell us that there's not a chance we're going to die doing this? And he's like, yeah, there is a massive chance that all of us won't make it. But can you tell me there's a chance that we won't if we stay here? And I was like, yeah, fucking fair play, man. Like, this is a situation where no matter what you do, you are going to have to take these risks.
100%. Also, these diving suits are real diving suits. So all of the underwater scenes were shot in these custom-built dive rigs that weighed about 140 pounds.
I was curious about that because they do look very sort of aliens, grabber machine-y, sort of ultra tech. And I was like,
yeah,
is that a proper diving suit? Because they take gloves off and stuff as well. And I'm like, how sealed is that when you put that glove back on? You know, like,
yeah, no, they're a proper custom designed diving suit for this movie. They did shoot a lot of the underwater shots in a dry room on a black screen.
I think there were moments in this movie where you could tell. I think a lot of the scenes later on with Nora and Smith's partner.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. Yeah, that one.
Emily.
When they meet again later on, do you know, after sort of like the big whole captain debacle thing, and then they meet again in the water, the dialogue scene between the two of them when they're underwater, I was like, I can see you've just put some floaties on screen and expect me to buy this, you know?
Yeah.
That was one thing I only noticed on a rewatch, and like the rest of it all felt very authentic. It was just that conversation between Kirsten Stewart and Emily where I was like, this just feels a little bit off.
Yeah, I love them minutely. Like, these suits are so cool. Like the helmet like twists on, which is important later, and like they just look fucking cool. They look really, really cool. They go down in this outside lift, and on their way down, like you get the captain going, "Oh, there's a pod down here. We need to stop and get out." And it's Paul's like, "But do we though?" He's like, "Yeah, we do." And Paul turns around to Emily and goes, "Well, you're up." And she's like, and bear in mind, Emily had never been in a dive suit. She's like, I can. And Paul's like, I'm just fucking with you, I'll go.
This was a proper laugh out loud moment for me. And I don't get them very often in movies, even when I'm watching comedies. I tend to have that sort of internal ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
But this was one of them where I was like, that was fucking brilliant. Like, I'm going to use that in a real life situation at some point.
And the fact she's like, I'll go, but you need to look after Dave, and hands the bunny over. I'm like, it's such a weirdo. So weird.
So weird, man. But I know people that weird.
Yeah, I do. I podcast with one of them. So Paul, so it's before this we get the implosion of Rodrigo, isn't it?
Yeah, so we get the implosion of Rodrigo, and I feel like it's a really important scene as well. So I do want to talk about it because once the captain's laid out his mission of, yeah, we're going to walk underwater, which no one's ever done before, which we establish in the exposition scene as they're all talking around the map. Rodriguez, they all go into the area where the dive suits are. The dive suits have been battered to shit and flung around the room due to sort of the shock waves of all the rig imploding and stuff like that. So they're sort of scavenging suits. They're trying to find fully working suits. He's like, look, the captain's like, look, all we need to do is just find 5 or 6. I can't remember how many characters we've got at this point. It's like, all we need to do is find 5 or 6. You find 5 or 6 helmets that are sort of working, and you can see them going around, and some of them have got cracks in them and things like that. And Kristen Stewart's got a helmet. And Rodriguez comes over and he swaps his helmet with her helmet, which is important because as they go down and the pressure starts to build in the sort of submersible tank, imagine that scene in Deep Blue Sea where they're at their end and they're all doing the prayers and they're like bringing the water in, and it's like, we have to pressurize the tank.
Yeah.
They're basically doing the pressurizing thing. And you see Rodriguez's helmet and it starts to crack. And you see the worry on his face, and you see Kristen Stewart lock eyes with him, and they know what's about to happen. And just as the moment Kristen Stewart turned around, he's like, no, don't let the water in, don't let the water in. The door's open, whoosh, water comes flushing in. Rodriguez's helmet just implodes, and you just see this barrage of blood and body parts just float around this water. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, and the thing is as well, it's so important because he did make that change, because he knew he was the one scavenging the helmets, and he knew that her helmet was sort of compromised, but he was willing to sacrifice himself in order to save her because she'd done that for him earlier on in the movie. And I was like, ah, fucking hell, man. And she knows that as well, because immediately as they come out of that situation, the captain's trying to be like, there's nothing you could do. And she was like, no, he knew his helmet was compromised. He knew that, you know? So obviously bearing in mind there were 6 characters, he only found 5 fully working helmets, and one of them that was a bit iffy. He took the risk himself to give himself that helmet. And I was like, that's admirable, man.
Yeah. And I messaged you because I was kind of, at this point, I was kind of like, I was in, but I wasn't fully invested. Like, there's been some cool stuff, but I was still like, talking with Lisa, like having a quick scroll on my phone. And when like this happened and he just like his head just went pop, I was like, oh my God. And I messaged you, went, he fucking imploded. And you're like, yeah. And after that, I was like fully locked in.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool when they do implode as well, because we get another implosion scene later on. How when they implode, obviously due to the pressure going into the system, it causes the suit, which is a heavily tech suit. It's basically like letting off a grenade underwater, and it just completely explodes. Rodriguez explodes, and it knocks all of the characters flying out of this shuttle that they're in, and they're all disorientated from where they are. And this basically sets off the tone for the rest of the movie from here on out.
Yeah, it does. Then they go down on the lift, and this is where you've got Paul and the other guy. I should have remembered these guys' name, but they just don't stick with me. Emily, I've remembered now. What was the other one?
Smith, Emily,
Smith,
Nora, and Lucian.
Yeah, Lucian. So it's Smith and Paul have gone out to look at this other pod, and they get out there. They're like, "Where is it? It's pitch black." They're like, "You should be right on it now." He's like, "There's nothing here." And then as they go to turn back, they see an imploded pod, which is covered in like all this slime.
Yeah, it's like
it sounds disgusting, but it looks like someone jizzed on it.
Cage movie is. Yeah, it's like underwater semen. If you've ever had a wank in the bath, you'll know what we're talking about.
Jesus Christ. And they also find a body of a crew member, and they're looking at the body of the crew member, and they're like, what is that? And you can't really see it. There's just something moving on its chest. And then all of a sudden, this thing just lunges at the camera. And you hear like Paul fire I think it's a nail gun that he's taken out with him because he's already on edge. And then the next thing, they just dump this. Well, let's be honest. It's a baby xenomorph on the bright white table. It looks incredible. The practical works of this is great.
Yeah. Really cool. I really love the creature design effects in this movie, especially the ones later on as well. I think they look phenomenal. But I have to applaud the sort of the build up to this, especially with Smith's character as well. Like you say, he goes in with the nail gun, but already everybody's sort of, I don't know what his service is on the rig, but a lot of people are asking him regarding earthquakes and like, is this an earthquake? Like, could an earthquake do this? And you can see he's on edge because he knows full well, like, whatever the fuck has happened is a lot more substantial than an earthquake could ever achieve. To the point where him and Paul are about to go in the dive suits and he starts weaponing up. And he's like, okay, I'm going to follow your lead on this situation. And rightly so as well.
Yeah, and like it's really cool. And I like the fact that at this point, none of them have completely freaked out yet. Like they're aware they're 6 miles down. The girl Emily's like, I think it's a new species. Like,
yeah, we have to assume she's a marine biologist at this point because she's the animal expert.
Yeah, she's like, I've never seen anything like it before. And the captain's very much like, great, okay, right, we understand what that is. We need to keep going down. And
I love in this moment, like they're completely in shit. Like everybody's about to die. They find this creature, and there's an actual debate about who gets to name it. You know, like who it's going to be named after. And Smith's like, well, I shot it, so I think it should be named after me. It's like, guys, you might not make it out of this situation. Nobody's even going to know you found this thing if you don't sort yourselves out.
No, and this is where they get the power cut, which is like, that would terrify me. Power cut. But they're really calm. And he's like, look, Nora, what you need to do is just put it in neutral so it starts, so the lift starts falling on its own and it starts to go down. The rig above them explodes and it like pushes them down and fucking bits go everywhere and they sort of get blown out of the doors into the sea.
Yeah, because they have to repressurize again before they hit the bottom due to the speed they're falling. I'm like, shit, like you need to, like, there's a sense of urgency constantly in this movie. And you're like, fuck, now that's happened. It's pushing them down too fast. So they're not going to pressurize at the right speed. It's like shit. So they have to get back in the suits and they're all like trying to climatize their body and stuff. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, like, man, I can't sit still. I don't know what's going to happen.
It's really good. And they get down and once they get down, they manage to get down into the tunnels. This is where I have some issues. So they've shown implosion numerous times. We understand how implosion works. If something that deep underwater has even a pinprick in it and water's coming in, it's going to implode. That's how implosion works. The pressure's too much. There's a hole. The pressure will force its way through that hole and compact whatever it is.
But I suppose you could use that logic at the beginning, though, could you not? You know, like it's a slow, like even at the beginning when the first opening act happens, the water's dripping through the ceiling.
Yeah, and then it implodes. They are in this tunnel system for 20 minutes, and it is like it's Preacher walking around the deep blue sea station levels of depth of water, and it hasn't imploded, and it annoyed me. It's such a minor detail, but I'm like, you understand implosion. You've shown us how it works, but now you have a tunnel that's 6.5 miles under the sea that's half full of water and clearly leaking like a fucking sieve, but this doesn't implode because it doesn't fit the plot. And it irritated me a bit.
I mean, you have to give it a little bit of a pass. So, like earlier on when they were in that tunnel, when they were trying to get through and the water was pissing in, it would, of course, have the same implications, but they specify in that, like, oh, this is definitely sewage water because they know if it was seawater, it would have imploded, you know?
Did they say it was sewage water?
They say it was sewage water. Not this particular scene in the tunnel, but the scene just before they find Paul, where Nora and Ramon are walking through. I think it's Ramon. They're walking through, and Ramon actually mentions, "Oh, it's fucking sewage water, man," you know, and wading through it.
In which case, it gets a full pass. I take back everything I said. The little train they get on is cool. I like the fact you get glimpses of this little creature that's following them. And I assumed it was one of the things we'd seen earlier. Turns out it wasn't, but I thought it was. And they get to a bit where the water's too deep and the little train they're on can't go through it. So they need to get out and go under. They look down. It's really narrow. And Nora's like, well, I'm the smallest. Let me go first.
This is where I called bullshit. I know you're calling bullshit on the pressurized thing. I called bullshit on this because I was like, all your fucking spacesuits are the same size. Don't bullshit me by telling me because she's a smaller lady. You're all wearing the same size spacesuit at this point.
Not only that, but when she does get down there, she's near enough standing up. Like there's so much space. Like she could literally like dance through this fucking tunnel.
Yeah.
And they all start going through one at a time. And Paul's the last to go through. And like Paul's not coming through. So they're pulling the tether that he's on and he's not coming through. And then he sort of pops up and this massive hand just takes a leg off and his suit like just fills with blood. I'm like, oh shit.
Again, though, but like even just like the minor details in this scene alone, like the things dragging him back and forth, their immediate panic isn't to drag him out because they know they're not strong enough. They tried that. The next thing they do is like put his helmet on so he can breathe underwater if it gets dragged back through. And I was like, even just little things like that, I'm like, you've thought about everything, you know?
Yeah, Paul doesn't make it. And I'll be honest, at this point, I was like, oh, it's a real shame because I really liked him. But his bunny makes it because he'd given it to Emily. So Emily has his bunny.
Emily has Dave. But yeah, Paul it was sad to see Paul go. And I think it was more heartbreaking as well, because like you say, he was one of like the key characters who always had that moment. I think, in all honesty, I think it was the right time for him to go because things really amp up to 11 from this point on. So his quippy one-liners would have felt misplaced in what the sort of overall tone of the movie was going for. They're really trying to harken in how bad this situation is at this point, and having Paul pop up every now and again and talk about pubic hair, you know, would have probably felt a bit misplaced.
Yeah, I think it would have as well. And I like from here, they get to the point where they can go back outside again. And their idea is they're going to follow these markers across to the Roebuck station.
Which again, we know is important because while they're discovering the map, there is like stages to their plan. The first plan was to go down in the lift and get to the safety bunker. That would be the resting station. And then the next point from there on out would be the real stretch of the mission where they would have to go out into like complete Mariana Trench's level sort of darkness. And it's like, nobody's ever walked out in open water like that before. Like, is this even possible? And we know that their oxygen suits, because it's already explained it to us in the movie, doesn't have enough oxygen in order to make that journey. It's a real high stakes situation, you know. It's about conservation of energy and oxygen and breathing correctly and just walking out into pure darkness without a map, without lights, and just expecting to be walking in the right direction. I mean, if you put a blindfold on yourself and was like, right, walk, you know, we play this at party games and things like that all the time. Like, you never stay on track, never, you know.
No, and they start their walk and they've obviously got the lights on their suits. They've got a rough idea of where they are. And this is where all hell breaks loose. So you get like, you see something go across. The first time I saw it was a thing go across the top of the screen. Like it looked like a cross between a dolphin and a man. I was like, okay.
Man.
Yeah, I was like, that's not good. And then the next thing, fucking Lucian is grabbed and dragged up like into the sky by this, or into the sky, shallower water by this fucking.
Well, no, he's not the first to go. Like, that is the ultimate climax of this scene. But no, they're walking out, and it's Smith. Smith's damaged oxygen tank is fucking him up. So like, Smith's like the sort of like fallen leader. He's struggling. Everybody's trying to drag Smith along. And he's the one that gets wiped first. And they take him into like this little underwater cave dwelling situation.
Yeah.
Everyone break from the path. Yeah. And they all break from the path that they're following. And immediately I was like, well, this is not good, because you're all just running off in different directions into the darkness of the deep sea. Nora grabs him, finds him in this cave, and you see the creature drag him in as well. And it looks fucking epic as he pulls him into this cave sequence. And Lucian, the captain, is like, I'll go get him. And he sort of marine claws in. And he manages to drag Smith out. And I was like, right, perfect. And he makes the dumbest decision ever. And he's like, I'm going back for the gun. And immediately, as soon as he's like, I'm going back for the gun, I was like, you're an idiot. And not only that, he's still tethered to Nora. Him and Nora are tethered together on a line, because Nora was the one that was going to lead the charge going forward into the water. And he just gets fucked. He gets fucked. This creature just comes out, grabs him, swims him up to the top.
He flips him onto the platform, which I was going to ask you. CGI or practical?
I think it's a practical set on a green screen background.
It is a practical set where they literally took the actor who plays Lucian attached him to a wire which was on a set of pulleys to get him in the right position, and basically just fucking yanked it as hard as they could and dragged him and Kristen Stewart fucking like 25 foot into the air. And he actually lands. How he lands on the platform in the movie is how he landed on the platform in the take. And like,
That's
if you
cool.
see the behind the scenes bit, the director's like, as soon as he lands, director's like, cut. We'll keep that. That's a good
medic.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fucking cool, man. It looks great. And this is the scene where we really get a sort of insight. I know we've seen the baby creature earlier on when they bring it onto the desk as they shoot it, but this is where we really get an idea of sort of the scope of what's lurking in the darkness. As Lucian's hanging onto the edge, Kristen Stewart managed to sort of counterbalance herself due to the rope pulling, and she lands center platform, so she's able to get up and walk around, whereas he's sort of hanging onto the edge and he's stuck by the rope that the two of them are tethered together by. And he's like, where's my knife? Can you reach my knife? And she's trying to get his knife. And then all of a sudden this creature appears, and it's like, it clings onto the side of, it's basically like a round sort of platform.
Yeah.
And he clings onto the side and it starts creeping its way around, and it looks so fucking good, man. They have these really weird pierced blue eyes, almost like the what are they called in the Game of Thrones thing? The
White
White Walkers. Yeah, they have like White Walker eyes underwater, and this thing's like creeping its way around the edge. And Kristen Stewart does like any other person would do. Instead of trying to help him, she just freezes, man. She just freezes and just stands there, and she's like, fuck, to the point where this creature comes up to her and like basically just grabs her, and she does nothing about it. But thankfully, my boy Lucian, he comes up, stabs this thing multiple times. It freaks out, grabs Lucian, and the only thing it does is go up, baby.
Yeah, and this is where like the pressure's getting too much, and Kristen Stewart won't let go of the captain, and he basically pushes her off. And
Yeah, imagine like Sylvester Stallone cliffhanger, where he's like, don't let go. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
Lucian's getting pulled further and further up to the top. Kristen Stewart's holding on for dear life. She don't want to let go, to the point where she's willing to die herself just to not let go. I'm like, dude, man, like, this is not going to serve you well. You need to just let go. To the point where he finally like releases. I don't know how he does it. At the point where I thought he like took his glove off.
No, he just wriggled his hand free. Just basically.
I was like, if you took your glove off, you would implode immediately, and then the delayed thing would be a bit of a setback. So, but like anyway, he manages to pull himself free. She starts slowly falling, but Lucian's going up at such a speed that his suit does Ramon sing and implodes. He dies from pressure. Nice sound effect. I like that. And as he implodes, it does like the mecha suit bomb thing that did earlier on. And it pushes Kristen Stewart down to the floor with immense pressure. They do this in the movie a couple of times where she gets knocked out, which really highlights that this is a hair perspective movie, because we just get black screen again for a couple of seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is where she gets up. She's no fucking clue where she is, because she's no longer on the path she should be. She's nowhere near Smith or Emily. She has no idea where she's going. And she just wanders off into the darkness, and by some fucking miracle ends up at this midway station that they'd mentioned earlier, and the captain's like, no, don't go there, like that's no good, we need to go to the Roebuck. When she gets in there, I have some questionable she makes some questionable decisions. So she's at the bottom of the ocean. She's just watched her captain die saving her.
She thinks Emily and Smith are dead.
She thinks Emily and Smith are dead, and she's all on her own. So when she gets to the underwater, this middle underwater station that's also not fully stable, her first instinct is to take her mech suit off and go and have a shower. I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you wasting time? No one.
I feel like it was fan service. I feel like it was just to let us know that Kristen Stewart is actually shit hot. She looks fucking amazing in this movie. And like, I'm not one of those people who likes to glorify women in that sense, but I've spent a lot of years shitting on Kristen Stewart for her terrible acting. but I fell in love with this woman in this movie. I genuinely fell in love with her. It was like that scene from the end of Aliens where Sigourney Weaver's like in her underwear getting into that spacesuit, but all the way through with Kristen Stewart. And I was like, I am here for this because you look fantastic.
Yeah, it must be fan service because it made no sense in the plot whatsoever.
It didn't. But I do like this because this scene really showcases the emotional fragility of Kristen Stewart's character,
And her range as well.
Yeah, exactly that. Like, honestly, I can't speak highly enough of her performance in this movie. She's so fucking good. But this particular scene, you see her, you get like a descent into madness kind of thing, as she's like, you can see her oxygen tank is slightly fucked and it's sort of like diluted with toxins and stuff like that. So she hasn't got a great oxygen range as well herself. And it does that thing where you see her like throw it and smash it, but then it snaps back to reality and she hasn't actually done that. It was just her thought process. And then she goes full on Rocky montage and gets geared up.
This is cool. So she goes for a nosy around the station. She finds the old yellow dive suit because hers has had it now. So she puts that on. She also finds...
Again, we do need to mention the Lucian, the hero that he is. There's a lot of stuff in this movie talking about like, oh, you've got family to get back to. You need to get back to your dog. You need to get back to your fiance. Kristen Stewart has suffered trauma. We find out later on in the movie, like because it's such an isolated situation and none of them have interactions with the real world outside of being deep down in the bottom of this rig. It does a really good job of setting up the fact that you can fantasize a life you have outside of this rig. And a lot of these people tend to live false lives. Kristen Stewart portrays herself as having like this husband, fiance on the outside world. Even the captain himself has got this daughter, Abigail, that he talks about. And there was a scene earlier on where he's talking about how his daughter's 14 years old and Kristen Stewart interrupts. She's like, no, Abigail's got to be like my age now. He's like, no, she's 14. And you see that sort of weird look on Kristen Stewart's face as if to like, no, she's definitely around a similar age to me. And you're like, something's not right here. And this is where we get the reveal that his daughter died at 14 years old because it's got like the funeral memoriam card in his lieutenant jackets as well. And then we get a really touching scene later on where we find out that again Nora has suffered a similar situation. Her and her fiance were really into like hiking and things like that. And one day they were supposed to go out on a hike together and she was like, oh, I'm not really feeling it today. I don't feel up to it. You just go on your own. And he never came back, and there's a lot of stuff like that in this movie that adds such a level of depth to it that is seriously not required from a film like this, but it goes there anyway. And again, it just highlights the range that Kristen Stewart has to be able to deliver performances like this. And I was like, yeah, that's so fucking cool, man.
Yeah, everything in that style works. She goes back out into the ocean because she's still got in her head, well, everyone else is dead, but I'm still going for the roebuck because I know there's pods there. And on her walk out, she comes across Emily, who has lost the will to live, but is still dragging a very battered and bruised Smith across the bottom of the ocean. Yeah. I love this. I love the fact that they're like, right, we need to get to the roebuck. And Emily's running out of oxygen and Nora's running out of oxygen. And Smith may as well be dead at this point. Like, it's that level of bad.
Yeah, but even just up until that point, though, like you see Kristen Stewart coming up the back of her. That sounds wrong. You see Kristen Stewart approaching her from the distance. Sounds better. And inside, because they're all like interlinked with their suits, you can hear microphones and stuff. You can hear the other person talking and stuff. You hear Emily just sort of monologuing herself to the victory. She's like, I've got to keep doing this. I love you. I'm going to keep pushing. This is the last breath in my body. And like Nora screaming behind her, Emily, Emily, Emily. And she's just like in this sort of zone of just, no, I need to get to the end game. And then Nora tackles her to the ground as if to say like, it's me, I'm here. And the panic of her thinking it's a creature, like she keeps her eyes closed, she doesn't look. And eventually she sort of like opens her eyes and realizes it's Nora. It's such a cool scene.
Yeah, what comes next? This scene where they can see the entrance to the roebuck, and there's all of these tentacles and legs and hands hanging down from this, what I assumed was a rock. I'm like, oh no, that looks bad. And all that went through my head was crawl. get on all fours and crawl through. But they try and do this almost like
a laser breaking into a bank kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like the scene with Catherine Zeta-Jones in Entrapment. It's that level of like twisting and bending around it. And one of them touches it. Oh my fucking God. This scene is so intense. Like one of them grabs her, then one of them tries to swallow Nora whole. It's got its whole mouth around her head. And you get the view from inside her little like fishbowl and all you see is like the inside of its mouth flapping against it, and then every now and then a tongue lashes across. I'm like, oh, that is not good. Like it's so scary. And they managed to like Nora stabs this one, doesn't she? She stabs
No. You see Laura, Nora, she when she's suiting up, like this was one thing I was disappointed by, to be honest with you, because she goes full on Ash from Ash in Evil Dead at the point where she's getting all her mech suit, her yellow mech suit up, she pulls one of the chainsaws off the top of the unit, like a rock drilling chainsaw. I was like, yeah, gear up with that and just fucking hack it. She doesn't. Anyway, she takes a flare gun. And this creature, which, by the way, if you look to the bottom left of the screen now, that's how cool they look. This thing just engulfs Nora's space underwater suit. And you see her slowly reach up with the big flare gun she's got. And I'm like, oh, no, don't shoot it. It's going to blow your screen out. No, don't do that. And she luckily manages to sort of angle it enough. And just blows a big hole in the side of this creature. And then the scene that
she crawls out of it. Yeah.
She just like bursts out through the side of this creature. I'm like, fuck yeah. And then all of a sudden she looks up and they all just start waking up above her. And I was like, oh no, run.
The thing is, like, they all start waking up and her and Emily, they're making their way. But what I thought was a rock that they're on swims away with them. And all of a sudden I went, oh.
I can't remember briefly what happens here though, because she shoots that thing. They all like wake up. That thing flies off into the air, and I feel like there was some sort of explosion again. This is where we get another really cool scene of her.
She fires the other flare. She reloads and shoots again.
Yeah, she does, and then that's when you see sort of like the creature. You don't see the creature reveal, but you see something of like a mass in the distance. But there's something that knocks her out here to the point where, because Emily's already inside at this point.
Lack of oxygen. It's a lack of oxygen.
Yeah, and she faints, and then next thing you know, she sort of comes back around again. And it's Emily dragging her in. You're like, oh, thank fuck for that. And this seems cool as in the group.
Yeah, Emily can't get I'm going to call it a space helmet. She can't get a space helmet off. So she smashes the lens with a fire extinguisher. They designed a special square fire extinguisher. Like,
to cause that impact?
Yeah, but not only to cause that impact, but just so it was different. It wasn't a round fire extinguisher that you'd get. It looked like a fire extinguisher, but it was like really thin and really long. It was like almost like the size of a Yellow Pages. Like it was just bizarre. It was really weird. Like I didn't notice it the first time I've watched this twice. First time I didn't notice, like, oh, she's got a fire extinguisher. The second time I was like, is that rectangle? Why is it rectangle?
I noticed.
But they smash her suit open so she can breathe. They get Smith kind of like a little bit sorted. Smith's fucked at this point. Like he's useless.
Smith's fucked because due to one of the explosions earlier, his oxygen got compromised and he breathed in like a load of like asbestos, basically.
Yeah, he's got asbestosis. That's why he's fucked.
Yeah, he's fucked.
They get up into the space. They get up into this station, and they've got viewing windows. And
this is like the main rig that we're trying to get to at the beginning of the movie, basically.
Yeah, they're now in the Roebuck. They look out the window, and we get our first proper look at like
Cthulhu, man. Cthulhu. And that's where we get the reveal of what this movie really is.
And this monster looks so good.
Oh, don't it look fucking cool, man?
And it's
Doesn't it look awesome?
Vindictive prick as well. So they try going down one of the corridors to get to the pods, and it just like one tentacle smashes it, and then the doors slam shut as that bit implodes. They then try the other one, and it does that as well. And they're like, well, do you know what, mate? Fuck you. We're going to go downstairs because you can't get there. Because like we're in the middle bit now, and they go down into the pods, and this thing's just circling with all these hundreds of fucking mini Cthulhu's following it around, and they get the pods, and there's 4 pods, one's broken, 2 are okay, and Kristen Stewart checks hers, and hers is broken, but she doesn't say anything. So they
Yeah.
get Smith into his, and this is where Emily hands the bunny hands Dave to
Smith.
Smith. Did you notice Smith was holding a real bunny rabbit?
No fucking way.
So it was originally going to be a real bunny rabbit all the way through, and they shot a lot of it with a real bunny rabbit. Then the decision was made that that's actually quite complicated, of like, how do we explain that we get a bunny rabbit going underwater and the bunny's fine? Like, there's lots of issues with a real bunny. So they turned it into a toy, but they kept the shot in with the real bunny. So for like, it's like 2 seconds, she hands him the toy bunny.
I'm watching this as soon as we finish recording.
And then when it cuts back to him, he's like there, like stroking a bunny. It's like, because I spotted it, I was like, what? And it was so quick. It was so quick. And like, blink and you miss it. I was like, I'm sure that was a real bunny. I'm like, I need to. At this point, I'm like, I've rewound this movie about 20 times. I'm Lisa, I need to rewind it. She's like, no, I don't want it rewound again. We're at the end now. So then after she'd finished and she went off to do what she was doing, I then rewound it. I was like, yeah, it was a real, but it's like, it is literally a 2-second shot. As blink and you'll miss it, but there is a real bunny in this. They load Smith in, they fire Smith's pod, and this thing just goes whoosh, which again, I have questions about how that works with depressurizing him, but I'm not going to criticize that. They then get, or she tries to get Emily into her pod, and Emily notices that her pod's like flashing between red and green. She's like, but your pod? She's like, you don't worry
I
about
can fix
pod.
it. Yeah, she's like, I'll fix it. It's fine. She's like, oh no, well, we'll fix it together, and then we'll both go up together. She's like, no, we ain't got time. You just get in yours. Nora fully sacrificing herself at this point.
But Nora fully sacrificed herself by punching Emily as hard as she can on the nose.
Yeah. And again, I get it. Like in that situation, she needed to, because Emily would not have gone any other way, I don't think. And to the point where she hit her in the nose, it gave her that shock as if to be like, yeah, she's going to fight me if I don't get in this pot.
Yeah, and she launches her up as well. And this is where she's watching on like the little monitor they've got. She can see the pods going up, as she can see the big Cthulhu, she can see all the others, and they all start going up after the pods. And she has this, fuck, what do I do? What do I do? And right at the beginning of the movie, the reason they had to leave the main station is the power core was unstable. And when it gets unstable, it gets really hot, and it's unstored energy that has to go somewhere. And Nora just does a full Alien 3 Ellen Ripley. She's like, I know what I need to do. Just fucking over. I will say the safety features on this station, that she can overload the core in about 3 clicks of a button, was a bit like, well, that's dangerous. Like that's really dangerous.
Yeah, it is. But I think they do a good job throughout the movie of building her up to be this sort of tech wizard extraordinaire, to the point where you're like, all right, I buy this.
Yeah. And we get the massive explosion.
Which is cool, because like as it implodes or explodes, regardless of how you look at it, you sort of see the Cthulhu trying to escape the blast, and it's like getting it from all different angles. It looks cool, man.
Yeah, and it like drags it tries, all the little ones get wiped out, and the big one, like, it's almost like he's being sucked into a whirlpool, like grabbing at rocks and like trying to get away. And you see him sucked into the blast. Then it's like he goes in, and then it goes poof, poof.
Yeah,
bits of Cthulhu everywhere. We then get a cut to newspaper articles, and we get the aftermath where it's saying that Emily and Smith survived, but the corporations covered it up and they won't explain what happened. Like, they're never going to tell you what happened. They think it was an earthquake, and they're planning on rebuilding and restarting anytime now. So this was 100% set up for a sequel. Also, from the newspaper article of the rescue, I spotted that this takes place in the year 2050, and currently there is a deep sea drilling operation that is looking at similar depths to this. So this could be one of those predicting movies where it's telling us the future.
I think we're all fucked regardless, mate, to be honest with you.
Well,
if it's not It's definitely going to be some sort of fucking deep sea drilling that's going to take us. Either way, I think in our lifetime we're going to experience the end. Put it that way.
Yeah, but it's fine because I'm good underwater.
Not gonna give up yet. If fish can live underwater, then so can I.
This film is a lot of fun. If you like Aliens, if you like Abyss, if you like anything of that sort of trapped in a single location with a monster, with everything else they touch goes horrifically wrong. Like if you like Apollo 13, like any of those sort of movies, this is definitely going to be up your street. I think I'm going to actually up mine to a 4.5 because after talking through it with you, there's more in this I like. I still have some little issues with it, but man, they're niggles. Like
they're
this
niggles,
is a great
man.
movie.
They're niggles. And I mean, like I say for you again, like 4.5 is very respectable. And I think if I was being honest with myself, it's not a 5 out of 5 movie, but I think I always rate on experience and enjoyment. And I think the experience I had with discovering this movie and the enjoyment I had from watching it for that first time, I'm sticking with the 5.5 out of 5. I think it's a fantastic movie, and it's like it sits within that wheelhouse of movies that I really, really enjoy. And I really love that sort of escapism level stuff. One of my favorites, that's not even horror. I wish for the life of me I could remember the title of the movie. It's a Mark Wahlberg movie, and it's about an oil rig that goes fucking sideways.
Yeah, I've seen it. I can't remember what it's called either, but that's really good. I like
so
that.
Fucking good. You know, even like levels of like Armageddon. You know, I'm talking like Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck sort of stuff. Like it feels like it's very much at home with those types of movies. But just with the added implementation of horror, you know, and for that I applaud it massively. I think it's a really solid movie, and I think it really needs to be sort of welcomed by more people. Hence why it was one of the reasons I picked it. I mean, you know me, I could have gone for some really stupid shit this month with what I could pick and things that I've desperately wanted to talk about on the show that I haven't had the opportunity to do so. But I picked this specifically because it's always one of those movies that I come back to that I wish more people had seen, that I could talk to more people about it. I've been trying to get you to watch this for years now. And it just felt like the perfect time for me to have that opportunity to do so, which is why I picked it for this month. So if you're questioning why I picked such a strange movie for my movie picks, I mean, you probably won't have that question to ask in 2 weeks' time when you get my second pick. but just
no
know...
one's got that question now. No one even has the question now. Why'd you pick a it's Mark? It's fine.
But what I'm saying is like, you expect me to go something really B movie and gory and really on the edge of the knife kind of level stuff, which is what I wanted to do. But I kept getting pulled back to this movie, and I just saw this as an opportunity to be like, if ever there was a time for me to get this on the show, this is going to be it. And I really wanted to do it, and I really wanted to showcase it, and I want you all to go out and watch it. Hopefully you did before we went in and spoiled the whole shit out of the movie.
It was a great episode, and now you need to go and watch it because we said how great it is.
I think it's one of those where people see things coming up on the calendar and like, oh, next week they're doing Underwater. I would like to think a lot of people who listen regularly were like, oh, I need to watch Underwater this week because the podcast's doing it. Not just I'll listen to the episode and then I might check out the movie.
Yeah, I think people do things differently. I'm one that I watch a movie before I listen to a podcast. There are a lot of people who don't. Would you like to listen to some voicemails?
I would love to listen to some voicemails.
Okay, well let's do some voicemails.
Hey guys, so I haven't left you a voicemail. Well, it's not a cell phone. Anyways, I haven't left a voice note. Let's just say that in 650 years. So I am leaving one because I'm just now starting to listen to The Sadness because I go hard for that movie. The movie is really good. That sounded really gross, but it's a really good movie. And I'm already kind of getting the vibe. I mean, I'm only a few minutes into it, but I'm already kind of getting the vibe that Scott's being kind of a little bitch about it. Mark, I like your outfit in the video. Also, y'all saying it's so hot. Let me tell you something. I want to tell y'all something about heat. You come to hot ass fucking Louisiana in the South, and then you can talk to me about how fucking hot it is. because we've had heat warnings. Like, literally, they're like, don't go outside, you could die. It's been up to almost 111 here, which is in Fahrenheit. I don't know Celsius because I'm not fucking British. Anyways, so I'm going to continue listening to the sadness episode. But, I mean, I knew Mark liked this movie because I'm almost positive Mark was the one that gave me the recommendation to watch it. And I'm not a big zombie fan by any means. I actually don't really like zombie films at all. But I like the sadness, and I fucks with that movie hard because the Koreans, Taiwanese, Chinese, all of them, guess what? They know how to make some horror films. Okay, toodly-doo, guys. Bye.
Toodly-doo, guys. Love it.
In case you're curious, I looked earlier. 111 degrees is 42 degrees Celsius.
That is fucking hot, man. Like, even when we go on like abroad holidays and we're like, oh, it's fucking boiling today. It's like 34, 35 degrees.
Yeah, that's like
42.
95.
42 is like your shoes melt to the pavement level heat.
Yeah, it's ridiculously hot. We have more voicemails this week.
Hey guys, I've just been catching up on episodes. Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers definitely sounds like something I need to watch, so I'm going to get on that soon. Sadness, great film, great episode, but I don't want to be that person, but I'm going to be. It's not a zombie movie. It's a virus.
Rebecca.
They're also human. You kept talking about them like they're zombies and like they're dead. Nobody dies. They don't come back to life. It's a virus that affects the part of the brain which basically gives them no morals or empathy, hence why they do such sadistic things. I was going to let it go, but you must have said zombie about 55 times in the episode, so I just had to say it. Sorry.
Time to go to school, bitch.
Well,
so listen to me.
Before
right?
you do that, as soon as I got that voicemail, Becky had also shared that she'd listened to the episode. So I then added that to my story. I went, thanks so much for listening to our latest episode on zombies. And she messaged me like, that was so funny. I was like, I couldn't even help myself. Like, it's almost like you just teed it up. You shared it, gave me an option to do something with it, and then bitched about it. Like, instant call out.
So for clarification though, let's just be honest about the origin of zombies. Now, while modern pop culture will have you believe that zombies are the dead living, the origin of the zombie comes from the possessed voodoo zombie. Therefore, people are not dead. They are possessed by voodoo magic. Therefore, they are zombified. Therefore, zombie, zombie, zombie. We are not incorrect here.
We have one more message because Heather listened to more of the episode and then called back. Yeah.
Okay, so, Lord have mercy. I don't remember the sadness being so gross. I mean, I do remember it being gory, but all this eye fucking and the pornographic stuff, and Scott, you saying that they were like actually having sexy times and all that, and then you can go check it out. I will not be looking at that because I don't really have a desire to watch other people smash their body parts together. I already Googled John Wayne Bobbitt's penis. So that's like already in my search history. And I did go to some hub porn. And it was super gross. And that movie's fucking lame. So John Wayne Bobbitt basically wasted his time because his penis looked like, it was horrifying. It looked like a Coke can like we discussed on our true crime episode. Okay, I'm rambling. Let me continue listening. Scott, I don't know how I feel about your likeness on the movie, that you liked it or didn't like it, but it's okay because now I'm second guessing that first message of attacking you because you're making this movie seem like it's horrific. I feel like I've seen way worse things in horror films. Have you ever seen Society? Fucking gross. Okay, bye.
Society is gross. This movie, The Sadness, is gross. Hence why Beck obviously clearly loves it. She's a pervert, man. She is. But in terms of Bobbitt, is this the guy who got his dick chopped off and then reattached?
Yeah, so our latest true crime episode, which is available now. John Wayne Bobbitt he was a horrible, abusive man, and he got exactly what he deserved. But his missus cut his dick off. They then found it, reattached it, and then he went on to have a career as a porn star. After his first movie, he decided to get a penis enlargement that went horrifically wrong, and left his penis the same shape and size as a can of Coke.
Some people prefer Garth, you know.
No, I'm going to send you now to go and look at John Wayne Bobbitt's penis. It is one that, as a man,
I
you
don't
look at
want
and
to
go,
do that. I feel like this is something you would have on your phone. Can you not just send me this? Because I feel like the Google exploration of trying to find Coke can penis Bobbitt is going to lead me down some really strange paths.
Just literally go to your favorite version of Pornhub. Type in John Wayne Bobbitt. Both of his movies will be there. The one you're looking for is Frankenpenis.
No, it's not.
It is. It's called Frankenpenis. It honestly is. So yeah, if you want to check out that episode, that's available on all podcast platforms. Or if you're a Patreon member, you got it like a month ago. We're going to play a game. I struggle with games at times, and the reason I struggle is I try and find games that link into the movie in the most tenuous way. Just something that I've got that can tie in. This movie is really hard to tie anything into. So I've come up with a visual game, which is not great if you're listening anywhere but Spotify, where you can now watch, or on YouTube. However, for people who can see it, it's going to be really fun. Those of you who can't, I'm sorry. It's been a long week. Mark, I'm going to show you a single frame from a water-based horror movie.
Nailed it. 10 out of 10.
All you need to do, you've only got 6, but all you need to do is tell me what movie that is. And anyone who is watching along, which will be on Spotify or YouTube, in the comments, how many you get right. So do you think you're going to nail this?
I do, but then again, it's your quiz, so you'll fuck me real royally. And most of them will be Deep Blue Sea, but like really obscure things that I would never get.
We will start with a really, really easy one.
That is Jaws.
That is the original Jaws. Well done. We'll keep it easy to start with.
That is Creature from the Black Lagoon.
It is 2 for 2. You see, you're killing it. Why make out like I make these hard when I really don't?
No, because this is the bit where you like introduce things are going to get a little bit harder from here on out, and then this is where things just get weird.
No, none of these get really hard. Here's your third one.
That is Jaws: The Revenge. No, you're hesitating, so it's not Jaws: The Revenge.
Technically, I'm going to allow it because it is, because the same plane is. No, it's not.
It's Deep Blue Sea. It's Deep Blue Sea. It's the same plane used in Deep Blue Sea. It looked like a really grainy version, so I was like, it can't be Deep Blue Sea because it looks like really bad quality.
It is Deep Blue Sea. Yeah, you got 3 more, so let's go with. Where do I go? I'm going to go with this one.
That is The Meg.
It is The Meg. Now, these 2 are the hardest 2. I don't think they're. It's one of those. If you've seen the film, you're going to know them, but if you haven't, you don't stand a hope. This one.
That is The Abyss.
Is one of the best underwater movies ever made.
I disagree. One of my favorite underwater movies, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of it. It's the one where it's got Samuel L. Jackson, where he's narrating the entirety of the movie. Tell me what it is.
I don't know that one.
You do. I've got it. I own it, and it's fucking awesome. And it's talking about like Leagues Under the Sea. It's the Leagues Under the Sea movie where he's like there, and then it turns out like he's the one narrating the whole events that happen in the movie where they're getting attacked. Fuck! People call in and tell me what I've done wrong here and why my brain is faltering me. It's the one where Samuel L. Jackson is talking about Leagues Under the Sea, and it turns out it's him. Every time he goes to sleep, he's reading the book, and those are the events of the book that are happening, and it's like Leagues Under the Sea movie. It'll come to me.
It sounds like you've made it up. Here's your last one. How about this one? This, I think, is the hardest one, because if you haven't seen it, you won't know it.
Fuck. That is the underwater found footage movie about a house.
Yeah,
is house in the title.
it is. Where
Deep
would
House.
The Deep House. Well done. 6 for 6. You absolutely nailed it. Let us know in the comments how you all done, and let's hit the magic button for everyone's favorite time. Your time, my time, Mark's favorite time. Here we go.
He's the king of the spool, the lord of the stack. If it's on magnetic tape, there's no turning back. From the floor to the ceiling, he's a mastermind hoarder, keeping analog alive on the edge of the border. Rewind, the night under the static flip. It's Mark, VHS from the crypt.
Colossally.
You
I'm a bit
googled the
distracted
movie.
because I googled the movie. The movie's called Sphere. It's got Dustin Hoffman.
I have seen it. Yeah,
Fucking
Dustin
awesome.
Yeah, it is good.
So fucking good. And he's like in the water, and then like all this shit starts happening, and they get attacked by like this giant octopus, and it turns out it's Samuel L. Jackson's mind the whole time as he's reading So Many Leagues Under the Sea. I can't remember the name of the book he's reading, but they're the events of the things that are happening to him. Sophia, really good film.
Really good film.
Anyway, back onto this week's episode of VHS from the Crypt, motherfucker.
Before you do it, if this is Deep Blue Sea, I'm going to kick you off the show.
You know what the thing is? Like, I wanted to so bad, but I've got to the point now with Deep Blue Sea where I was like, everyone knows I'm going to pick Deep Blue Sea because it is the most obvious choice for me to go with this type of movie, given my love for it. And I was like, I'm going to get Deep Blue Sea, and then I'm going to bring in like Aliens, and then I'm going to bring in like Leviathan, and then like we'll combine the shit together, and that'll be like my representation of this movie. That is what I was going to do. But considering how underappreciated this movie is, I went with another underappreciated movie that sort of deals with similar sort of territory, which is still one of my favorite movies of all time, and that is Deep Rising. I love Deep Rising. I know it's a very questionable movie. It's a very schlocky movie, but it's fucking awesome.
It is. It's a very similar to this movie. It's one of those movies where you go, oh, that was fucking cool. That's so cool. Yeah, it's one of them.
It's one of those, and for those reasons, I've picked Deep Rising tonight. And again, Deep Rising has one of the best endings of any movies from the straight-to-video era. After all of the events, similar to what happens to Underwater, they find themselves stranded on this island, only to be sort of attacked by what we can assume is King Kong.
Yeah,
and it builds up to be one of the greatest cinematic universes of all time, only for this movie to never get a sequel.
You know, you can watch Deep Rising as a prequel to Kong Skull Island, and it works.
Yeah, it definitely works. It definitely works. I would have much preferred to have seen the 90s version of it and then go with a Deep Rising 2. I'll be honest with you. But yeah, it works in that stead, and it's set up exactly to do that. You know, it sets up this world of monsters perfectly, with this being the prequel to all the shit that could come before it. But I love Deep Rising. It has a very similar sort of thing to Underwater. Not quite. I'm stretching. I'll be honest with you. I really am stretching. But it was either this or Deep Blue Sea. So take what you will.
Yeah, it's still got deep in the title. I prefer Deep Rising in this instance. Make sure you go and follow Mark. He is at VHS from the Crypt on Instagram. The collection that he has is awe-inspiring. He does loads and loads of stuff over there. He deserves your support as much as we do. So go and show Mark all the love in the world. And that is it for this week. We're going to be back next Tuesday, and it's my pick. I'm in a dilemma. So that I picked a movie and I was convinced on that movie. And then I watched a movie that I haven't seen for ages. And I'm like, oh, but that's so fucking cool. I want to do that movie. So I'm undecided. So I can't tell you what we're going to do next week. And I'm not even going to give you the options of the two. Mark, I will message you midweek and tell you which one we're doing. So next week, tune in for a surprise episode.
Yes.
Well, or follow us on social media and you'll see me put 3-word review out for it as soon as I decide which one I'm going for.
That's the thing. Like this month has been great. You know, it has been great. And like, I've really enjoyed the opportunity to pick movies. Cause bearing in mind, like we do this week in, week out, and there is so many movies that I watch and you watch and that we want to talk about, and we want to get on the show. And obviously we can put those movies in the poll, but it can go for fucking years without. Lost Boys is a prime example. Like, how
Yeah.
many fucking weeks in a row did that shit get pulled before we finally managed to get it on the show? You know, it's up to you guys what you pick for us to discuss, you know. And this month has been like a really, really difficult month because, like, there is so many movies that I know if I pulled would never get picked, but I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
In all honesty, me and you, we had this conversation. You was like, right, pick 2 movies for this month. I'll pick 2. You pick 2. Underwater was a definite for me. That was one that never changed. My second movie has had probably 10, 12 different swap outs since. I think I'm set now. But you've got a honeymoon to go to before we actually record my final pick, so that might change again. I don't think it will. I think I'm pretty locked in now. But it's been like one of the most difficult sort of pre-prep episodes to do for this show because there are so many things that I want to get showcased and I want to talk about and I want you all to go and experience. But I'm also in the same sort of conflict where I'm like, like that is the most obscure movie in the world. Like if I pick that, no one's tuning in that week.
Yeah, and like I was so locked on my decision. It was the first pick. As soon as I realized that we were doing it, it was the first movie that sprung to mind. I locked it in straight away.
Yeah, it was.
No intention of changing it. Sat and watched a movie last night and went, oh no. Oh
it's
no.
so difficult, isn't it?
And Lisa's like, are you all right? I'm like, no, I'm in a dilemma. She's like, that is not a dilemma. I was like, it is. Like, I only get this opportunity doesn't happen.
I really fucking like podcasts who like just pick and the people just have to listen to whatever they decide. Like that is for me bliss, you know, because like there might be a movie where I'm like, it don't matter, I'll put it on in a couple of weeks, you know, it don't matter. But like we don't get that sort of glory, you know. So like when an opportunity like this arrives, you're like, oh fuck. Like we get them every now and again. Don't get me wrong, we've had years of doing this show and you might eventually get 1 week where it'll be like Scott's pick or Mark's pick, you know, but an entire month dedicated to it where you've got 2 movies, pick 2 movies, this is our month, and you're like, fuck, I could pick 1,000,001 movies. How do I narrow this down?
Yeah, like one of the reasons this show is run by the listeners is because I am terrible at deciding. Like if I had to, like I think the first ever episode I'd done, I picked, and after I picked, the next week, literally the next episode was polled because I had like 7 movies. I'm like, I don't know which one. I'll make it 8 and I'll do a poll. And that is literally the You Run podcast was born out of the fact that I couldn't make a fucking decision. Like
yeah, you see, like it irritates the shit out of me. Like if I was in control of this show and I had to decide how we would do it by a franchise basis, and we would do Scream 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'd maybe sprinkle in a couple of movies that didn't have sequels, and then we'd dive into another franchise and we'd do like Chucky and we'd do Child's Play 1, 2, 3, Seed, Curse, Cult, blah 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 blah. You know, and then we do another sprinkling of movies, and then we'd go into another franchise, and then we do another franchise, and we would hit it that way to the point where we like ran out of franchises, and that would be like, that's the end of the show, guys. We're done. But that would be the definitive. If I ever like decided to fall out with Scott, not that he would ever let me do so. I feel like I'm trapped now.
You are.
I am. But if I ever was like, yeah, fuck this shit, fuck this show, I'm going on my own, solo, bitch. Not that I would ever have the intention to ever edit anything in this. Like, just know that if I came off this show, that would be the end of my career.
You'd go solo and you'd be like, mate, look, I know I had a bit of a tantrum, but if I send this over to you, is there any chance you could look at editing it for me?
1,000,000%. I don't even think I'd get that far. I'd get in here and I'd be like, yeah, I can't be arsed with this shit. But had I had my way and we'd have like from the start, like, right, how are we going to do this podcast? What should we do? I'd be like, right, let's do a franchise-based podcast and we'll work our way through the franchises. We'll do them in order. We'll do them in synchronization. And then we'll like maybe get to a certain point in the year and we'll have score charts of which franchise is leading the tally and which one's going to be the top of the tier. And then we'll go do another franchise and then maybe that one might beat the other franchise. I don't know. That's the kind of shit I would have done if it was me. Thankfully enough, I don't have to deal with the stress of doing that.
Nor do I, because the listeners do it all for us, which is it's a blessing and it's a curse. Like there are times when I want to do a movie, like, and I'm like, I will deliberately pick a movie that's fucking great, and me and Mark will have spoken about the movie. I'll stick it in the polls, and I will poll it against like the 7 worst movies I can possibly find, and every single time I do that, it will lose, and then I'll sling it on a random week when I'll put it in with real heavy hitters, and it'll win. I'm like, you guys make no sense.
Yeah,
None
and
at
like
all.
you said, like this show is a cursing, a blessing and a curse, because like there's times where we'll go on like a really good streak, where we'll have like 4 or 5 or 6 weeks where we've got like fantastic movies, you know, but then at the same time we have those bad times. I think one of the biggest lulls for me as a co-host on the show was when you introduced Action Week. Action Week was fucking dire for me, man.
Yeah.
And we did like, I think we did like 4 or 5. It was like a long month as well. So we had like 5 episodes in that month of just shit. Like, and there weren't shit movies, but they were just like not movies. Whereas a podcaster, I wanted to talk about those particular movies in
That's
depth,
when we done like Labyrinth and other stuff like that. It was like non-horror.
Yeah, and we had like RoboCop, and RoboCop's a great movie, and that was actually surprisingly one of the only highlights of that month. But then we did like shit like that, and then we came off the back of that, and then we had like really poor horror movie picks as well, and it went on for like near enough 2 months where it was like, dude, I need something good. I need a good movie to sort of like revigorate my enthusiasm for the show, because at the moment these guys are fucking draining me with these picks.
So remember that when polls come back at the end of this month, remember, please pick good movies, don't pick shit movies. And on that note, we're going to call this episode to an end. Have a wonderful week. Avoid Cthulhu or Cthulhu or Cthulhu or
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. And we will see you all next Tuesday.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.
You want to die tonight?
You're on podcast. You're on podcast. Late at night, I tune into your show where you talk horror with a unique flow. Your voice is like sirens, draws me in as you pick apart movies on murder and sin. Scott and Mark set the scene. I hang on every word, lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Mark's fucking long round ups. You're on podcasts, horror movie reviews, sharing facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grin long after you fled.
Woman.
You're on podcasts.
Under the sea,